Once again, terrorism has risen its ugly head, this time in Paris, killing over 120 people and injuring many more. This atrocity is beyond horrible. My prayers go out to the French people. I hope they find not only strength and peace, but justice against those who would do something so heinous. But it's about those who would commit such a heinous act and what we should do about them that I want to talk about. Let me start off by saying what Hillary Clinton stammered around in circles to avoid saying.
He had to say all Muslims. He just said radical Islam. Is that a phrase you don't...
I think that you can talk about Islamists who gun.
We are at war with radical Islam, specifically ISIS. While our current administration might have different ideas about how serious this problem is,
from the start, our goal has been first to contain, and we have contained them.
Rest assured they are a big problem. Now, we might not have declared any kind of official war against them, but they have against us, and they are proving how serious they are in their convictions about it. Radical Islam has been behind so many attacks that have happened in recent history, including the Fort Hood shooting, the Boston bombing, and the Chattanooga Recruitment Center incident, and yes, the attacks on 9/11 too. Now, politicians and the media have tried to dance their way around the subject to try to sound more politically correct and inclusive. But the fact of the matter is that these extremists are out there, and they plan on killing people who don't follow their strict code of laws. And this includes educated women, gays, Christians, Buddhists, atheists, pretty much anybody who doesn't fall in line with Sharia law. Understand, Islam is extreme, and they are proud of that fact. They don't try to hide it.
Do you believe that the Sharia will dominate? Do you believe that democracy will come under our feet? That we will destroy America? We will destroy Britain? That all of these leaders, they'll be under our feet? Do you believe that? Because if you believe that, I will see it in your actions.
You want her to die.
You know what? She should be put before a Sharia court and tried, and if found guilty, of course she will face capital punishment.
The only people who want to seem to deny it are politicians in the media. Now, if you want a good look at how moderate Islam is not, then head over to my friend Steven Crowder's channel, where he has a whole slew of videos dedicated to the subject. Now, to be real, every terrorist is not a Muslim, but these Muslims committing these atrocities are terrorists, and there's no use denying that fact. And those who won't embrace the fact and encourage and even ridicule others into believing the same thing should be damned ashamed of themselves. This kind of political correctness is stopping us from taking measures against something that is a very real threat. For instance, it's been taboo to even give credence to the thought that there could be terrorists hiding within the refugees fleeing from places like Syria. But that was turned on its head when one of the Paris attackers admitted that he had smuggled his way into Europe by posing as a refugee. Now, in an attempt to make sure this line is towed, politicians like Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Barack Obama have said that they were going to continue to bring in refugees. And while officials say that the vetting process for these refugees is extensive, the truth of the matter is it's not that great. Representative Peter King of the House Subcommittee on Terrorism told Chris Wallace, "I was listening to Ben Rhodes, and what he just said about the robust vetting of refugees is untrue. There's virtually no vetting. There are no databases in Syria, there are no government records." And it doesn't inspire confidence when Matthew Emmerich, the Associate Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Fraud Division, that's a mouthful, couldn't answer specific questions about the holes in the vetting process itself.
There are no real databases in Syria to check, isn't that right?
We check.
Get on with it.
Every
Yes, get on with it.
Thing that we are aware of.
So with ISIS even admitting that they're smuggling operatives within the refugees and our vetting process being about as useful as a kid's plastic beach bucket on a sinking tanker, it's a safe bet that there are wolves within the sheep coming to the US. Now, before I'm accused of fear-mongering, racism, Islamophobia, or some other narrative-driven load of horse crap, let me clarify. I'm sure many of these refugees are fleeing for their lives and mean us no harm. My heart goes out to them. But to ignore the facts and say that there could be no terrorists among them is just stupid. So what can we do? Well, first off, let's not make the same mistake we did after 9/11 and ask the government to implement more useless safety measures like the TSA. Stuff like that has done more harm than good. We don't need more organizations making us feel safe by taking our nail clippers and feeling us up like a drunken date from Tinder. Secondly, we need to realize that no amounts of reasons or pleas for coexistence are going to get through to these extremists. Playing Imagine on a piano with a peace sign on it looks good when it scrolls across your Facebook wall, but don't think for a second someone on a jihad is going to change his mind because he got a case of the feels. Calls for peace won't change the hearts of zealots who have dedicated their entire existence to ending yours. There's only one song extremists are moved by, and it sounds a lot like a gunshot. Mostly because it is a gunshot. I encourage everyone to arm up and educate yourself about gun safety and use. Because if there's one thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun,
I'm your huckleberry.
It's a good guy with a gun. See, Paris's gun laws are highly restrictive, but much of America doesn't suffer from this problem. If, God forbid, a radical Islamic terrorist decides to try to create another Paris where you are, you'll be able to stop it dead in its tracks while removing another threat from the world. All I'm saying is give peace a chance. Again, I send my thoughts and prayers out to our oldest allies, and I wish them well in their coming attempts to make sure this atrocity never happens again. Later.